Hello, viewers. Welcome to another interesting video from Display. Thanks for watching. Today, we'll explore how Africa got its name. We often take the names of continents for granted, but have you ever wondered where they come from? For example, America is named after an Italian explorer, but not the one who first discovered it. Europe and Asia may come from old words meaning sunset and sunrise, but experts have different opinions on that. Africa, too, has had many names throughout history. Africa is just one of the names people have used for this huge and diverse land. In this video, we'll dive into its origins and history. Let's get started. But the story behind Africa's name isn't as clear as the origins of this amazing continent. That's why, in this video, we'll take a closer look at how Africa got its name. If you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our videos. Now, let's explore, what is Africa? The word Africa brings different images to people's minds. Some think of elephants standing before the snowy peaks of Mount Kilimanjaro. Others picture a mirage floating over the Sahara Desert. Africa is also a strong and meaningful word. It represents adventure, exploration, freedom, mystery, but also struggles like poverty and corruption. For over 1 billion people, Africa is more than just a word, it means home. But where does the name Africa come from? That's a difficult question, but there are a few theories that might explain its true origin. Before we dive into that, let's take a quick look at Africa itself. It is the second largest continent in the world, after Asia, both in size and population. It is home to 54 countries, 9 territories, and over 1.3 billion people. These people proudly call themselves Africans, and being African is an important part of their identity. But where did the name Africa really come from? Let's find out. The true origin of the word Africa remains a mystery, even though many people feel deeply connected to it. The history of Africa. Historians debate where the name Africa originally came from, but we do know some facts about its history. The Romans were the first to use the word Africa to describe parts of their empire, specifically the region that is now Tunisia. When the Romans conquered Carthage in the 2nd century BCE, they took control of most of North Africa and divided it into different provinces. One of these provinces was Africa Proconsularis, which covered Tunisia and northern Algeria. Another was Africa Nova, which included parts of present-day Algeria, also known as Numidia at the time. Historians agree that the Roman use of the word Africa for these provinces eventually led to the entire continent being called by that name nearly 2,000 years later. However, scholars still disagree on why the Romans chose the name Africa in the first place. Over time, a few key theories have become widely discussed. Let's explore them. The Roman theory. One theory suggests that the Romans were the ones who gave Africa its name. According to this idea, the Romans named the land south of the Mediterranean after a local Berber tribe that lived in the Carthage region, which is now Tunisia. Different sources give different names for this tribe, but the most common one is Afri. The Romans may have called the region Afri Terra, meaning land of the Afri. Over time, this name could have been shortened to Africa. Another possibility is that the suffix "ica" was added, similar to how the Celts gave their name to Celtica, now part of modern-day France. Some historians also believe that Africa may have been a Roman misunderstanding of the name the Berbers originally used for their land. Some believe that the Romans gave Africa its name after a Berber tribe that lived in what is now Tunisia. The most common name for this tribe was Afri. The Romans may have called the land Afri Terra, meaning land of the Afri. Over time, this name could have been shortened to Africa. Some also suggest that the name came from the Berber word Ifri, which means cave and might have referred to cave dwellers in the region. What we do know for sure is that the name Africa has been in use since Roman times, though at first, it only referred to North Africa. The Phoenician theory. Another theory suggests that the name Africa came from the Phoenicians, an ancient people from what is now Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. The Phoenicians were skilled sailors and traders who often traveled across the Mediterranean to trade with the Egyptians and other African civilizations. Some believe the name Africa came from the Phoenician words Aphrike and Aphrike, meaning corn and fruit. The theory is that the Phoenicians saw Africa as a rich land full of food and crops. This idea makes sense, especially since the Nile Valley was once known as the breadbasket of Africa, providing plenty of food for ancient civilizations. The weather theory. Another idea about the origin of the name Africa is linked to its climate. Some believe the name comes from the Greek word Aphrike, which means land free from cold and fear. Others suggest it comes from the Latin word Aphrika, which means sunny. Another possibility is that it comes from the Phoenician word Afar, meaning dust. Even though Africa's climate varies greatly, with deserts, jungles, and mountains, ancient travelers from the Mediterranean mostly stayed in North Africa, where the weather is warm, sunny, and dry. This might explain why they associated the name with the climate. The Africa's theory. Another theory suggests that Africa was named after a person or a group called Africas. However, this idea is less common compared to the others. Another theory suggests that Africa was named after a Yemeni chieftain called Africus, who is said to have invaded North Africa sometime in the 2nd millennium BCE. According to this idea, Africus established a settlement in the land he conquered and named it Aphrike. Some believe that Africus wanted to be remembered forever and may have ordered the entire region to be named after him. However, since this event happened thousands of years ago, there is little historical evidence to confirm this theory. The geographical theory. This theory suggests that the name Africa came from ancient traders from India. In Sanskrit and Hindi, the word Apra means a place that is far away. In a geographical sense, this could also mean a land to the west. When Indian traders sailed westward across the Indian Ocean, the Horn of Africa would have been the first land they saw. This may be why they referred to the entire region as Africa. Because of these possible connections, some believe this theory also holds some truth. Other theories. There are even more theories about how Africa got its name. Some of these include the Libyan theory, the furthest sunset theory, the Guinea theory. These different ideas show how much of Africa's history and origins remain unexplored. Despite being the second most populated continent and one of the richest in natural resources, Africa still doesn't have a clear answer to how it got its name. Maybe this is because of its long and complex history, or maybe the name itself has never been a big concern for the people living on the continent. Whatever the case, Africa's story continues to unfold, and its rich heritage remains strong. Conclusion. And there you have it, displayers, that's how Africa got its name. Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like us to cover any top 10 topics, drop your suggestions in the comments, and we'll do our best to make it happen. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and share it with your friends. See you in the next video.